There you are. Welcome back to the channel. We have all types of disturbing TikToks, creepy videos, and just outright scary theories coming right at you. If you're new around here, I'm Jesky Chuck. We dive into all types of mysterious, crazy stuff all across the internet. I try to keep things clean around here and edit out all the curse words because I don't want all that stuff floating out in your living room. Two things we need to do before we get started. 1, hit that like button. 2, hit the subscribe button. With that being said, let's dive in.
While the stadium's not completely empty, there is a very heavy police presence. Also different about today's game, the city of Baltimore is allowing only one bat to be used, which is being kept under strict lock and key. Let's see if we can get a look at it. Here it is, provided by the good people at Nerf. Finally, a reminder to fans that
The vibration from the bat hitting the microphone distorted the creature's output, because we all know that Draco reptilians are sensitive to sound. That's why they took the bells away. For context, this video is strictly for entertainment purposes only. It is not factual.
What am I supposed to see? Turn the knob. It's magnificent.
Now stay on track. We're talking about wavelengths, frequencies, when it comes to snapping a flash in front of a human's eyes to reset the optic nerve, which resets the consciousness and shocks the brain.
We've become such homebodies.
Yes. But even when you go into the city, I've just had no interest.
Now keep in mind that this is really, Lakeith looks like a black man on the outside, but really this is her husband. Her husband was dying. So instead of him actually dying the real way and being buried or cremated, they took his consciousness and put his consciousness into whoever this man was. The real man's consciousness is trapped. His soul is trapped in somewhere, and the white man is in him. When he just flashed that flash, he didn't know that he was setting off his optic nerves because the frequency of the wavelength of the flash shocked him. So now the black man resurfaced.
Sorry, man.
But back then, we didn't realize back then we didn't realize the severity of this. You feel me? Like, this is f***y, bro. The elites be doing shit.
I never seen this movie, but I might have to watch it. I'm not a huge movie watcher, y'all, but this is one I might have to watch.
When it comes to bodies, they understand that consciousness is weightless and can be transferred to what the when it comes to a meaty, fleshy body. Man, allegedly.
Mind you, this is a children's show. Disney canceled this after 2 seasons. And I'm gonna show you why.
Pay attention.
To reach into someone's mind and release their inner joy, it takes skill, it takes wisdom, and it takes patience to master the technique. Ready to share your gifts with the world.
She's taking a picture of him. Why is this odd? Just a man getting his picture taken, talking about people's minds and sharing them with the world on stage. Perfectly fine. But I find it odd that she decided to not ask him to come into the crowd and take a picture of everyone, but she just decided to have the flash facing that way. Stick with me now.
The brain sweeper? It's all in here.
But nothing about happiness.
Okay, go back to the section on the whisper.
Now check this out. You know how they say NPCs, an NPC. What is an NPC? An NPC is somebody that's just in the simulation. They don't really have a purpose. They're just in the world just to live and portray happiness.
A Cabbage Patch?
Okay?
The whisper is designed to create a state of anxiety and discontent. And here, underneath her note, the reverse is always possible.
mind that this is a children's show. This is a children's show. The optic nerve, the eye, is a portal. But they don't want you to know that. They want you to think that, you know what, let me keep going. They got a device. The kids are going to build a device with these notes.
What's this? She's talking about how the optic nerve triggers changes in the prefrontal cortex.
How the optic nerve. Now let's go back to that photo that was taken. The woman only took a photo of the twin that was on the stage because she only wanted to trigger his optic nerve. She didn't want the other people's optic nerves to be triggered. Now we're talking about cameras here. We're talking about the flash, how the camera's flash triggers the eye nerve, the eyeball. Because the receptor is connected to the brain, aka the wires.
The optic nerve. It's the way in, so maybe it's also the way out.
It's the way in, the portal, the entrance. That is why it is detrimental to your life that you are conscious of how you receive things, where you receive things. Through your ears, another portal. Through your mouth, another portal. Through your eyes, another portal. Through your nose, another portal. The portal to the soul.
You can jar the brain into resetting.
I could build something.
What if it doesn't work?
So remember when the kids were just reading that book about the optic nerves? They used household items to build a machine where they could have a shutter. Whenever he pushes the button, it's going to be a flash inside of this optic tool, whatever. So remember that game that we used to play as kids where you used to put your eyes through it and you used to put like different films in it and it showed like different pictures and that shit was calm for however long? That was manipulating our frequencies. Optic nerve has been shocked, has been reset. His conscience has been reset.
You deliberately misled me.
If you have the perfect wavelength frequency, you can manipulate anything. You can manipulate matter. You can manipulate anything. This is what they be, Lord. But this is top-notch secret information. They don't want us to know that. But it's like some type of law where they have to put the shit in front of our faces to say that they told us without directly telling us.
It worked.
It worked. They are under a spell.
I need to see this.
Oh, can you wait? I'm vibing.
Oh, it's most certainly cannot.
Vibing, I said.
Trust me.
Just a fake happiness. How some certain people are just, we just look at them like, are you not affected by what's going on in the world? There's some people out there that's like that. That's what this is portraying. So when you reset your consciousness, all of that shit flies out the window and you become conscious of what you need to be conscious of.
Just turn the knob.
Another reset. All of these people have been turned into NPCs. They all have been turned into NPCs. They are just on the planet with no purpose. No true purpose, no true objective. Just taking up space to make it seem, to make the stage more interesting, to make the stage more appealing. Every wavelength is shocking the brain and resetting it.
Could that be possible, how celebrities might switch bodies and live forever?
To mess with humanity. Y'all got to stop. Satan, I rebuke you to hell. This isn't going to help humanity. Y'all done made a whole bunch of movies telling us what the robots are going to do. And then, man, it's only about a matter of time before they're locking black people up. Yeah, y'all got to stop. This isn't to mess with humanity.
Man, give it about 10, 20, 30 years. These things are about to be a problem. If you haven't seen my video about how to defend yourself against robot dogs, you definitely need to check that out.
Remember, pay attention, y'all. They have to let us know first before they can do anything to us. That's heavenly rules, right? That's how God laid it out for these little demon mother. They can't with us without letting us know that they're about to with us.
I was kind of going through a period. I was having a struggle with hopelessness.
Oh, okay.
And it was just really, the world is in a dark place.
Yeah.
Why did Malcolm Jamal Warner, who was rescued by onlookers after receiving treatment from the Red Cross?
Then let's go to the date he actually
which is July 20th, which is the 201st day of the year. Yeah, can anybody tell me why The Cosby Show ran for a total of 8 seasons, equaling 201 episodes?
They're gonna come for you. You're too clean for this game. That's what Eddie Griffin told Malcolm Jamal Warner, not in an interview, in private. It was a warning from a real friend. And now Malcolm drowned in the ocean while on vacation in Costa Rica. But the way the story flipped around, it's sketchy as hell. First they said saving his daughter. That version was everywhere. Headlines, social media, all of it. It was literally Us Weekly that claimed that Malcolm was trying to save his daughter from Riptide before he drowned. But suddenly the story changed and now they're saying Malcolm's daughter wasn't even in the water with him when he drowned. And then what's also suspicious is that Malcolm's wife wasn't with them that day, but we're supposed to believe Malcolm took his 8-year-old daughter to swim on a dangerous beach with no lifeguard presence and warning signs everywhere. And if the daughter wasn't in the water like they're saying now, then it means she was alone on the beach while Malcolm was swimming.
Remember, pay attention, y'all.
One thing's for certain, we will never know the truth.
What is the obsession with reptilians in India? There's a lot of people worshiping reptiles there, huh?
Yep. We worship gods, like our gods are snake-like reptilian gods. We worship Nagas. Which are basically reptiles. We have a lot of ancient texts talking about Nagas. Not only in India, by the way, the Nagas are also called Sarpas. They're called Sarpa.
Where does Nagas come from?
Basically a word that denotes reptile, like a snake, like a serpentine.
Okay.
Like you understand what I'm saying? Like it's called a Sarpa in India. It's called a serpent. It's all coming from the same word. From in the Bible, it's all coming from the same word. A shape-shifting reptilian set of gods. And believe it or not, they're considered the origin of human civilization.
When he said they're in the Bible, there's only one snake I can think of that's in the Bible. These serpents look alive, but they have been carved into stone for centuries. Location, Bali, Indonesia.
Discovered in the early 2000s, deep within the overgrown jungles of Bali, Indonesia, these massive serpent carvings appear almost frozen in time. Etched directly into the riverbanks, the coiled serpents and Naga guardians stand watch. This mysterious site features a variety of intricate figures, but it is the serpents and dragon-like creatures that astonish the most. The site is believed to be several centuries old, yet its exact age remains unknown.
Those Nagas are pretty creepy. In fact, I believe we found the real one. Let me show you this quick clip. The 7-headed Naga. Let's see. Look at the detail, how it was carved. Wow. They definitely stumbled upon something here. Damn, this one looks a little bit too real, doesn't it? It looks like it's petrified. Imagine if this is like a giant's hand or a Medusa hand. How many is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7-headed. This reminds me of the Hydra on Godzilla. How crazy is this? This one might actually be petrified is the first thoughts I'm thinking.
No, this is not Angkor Wat in Cambodia. This is the Phi My Temple. This is the question that has haunted all experts. Who is this temple dedicated to? Buddha, Vishnu, or Shiva? Let's go into the main chamber and find out. You can see a central figure in a silhouette. What is that? As we go closer, something gets clearer. It is Lord Buddha sitting majestically. There is something quite mystical about the statue. So, is the Phi My Temple a Buddhist temple? Because the main statue is Lord Buddha.
When they add the tails in the back, it reminds me of the 9 tails.
No, this lintel shows an amazing scene from the Hindu epic Ramayana. Rama, who's the avatar of Lord Vishnu, is shown as the giant figure in the center, who was powerful enough to knock this great god unconscious. Look at what is wrapped around him. The Naga. This weapon is called the Naga Pasha, and it was the Naga that knocked him unconscious. We see Buddha, but Naga is towering over him. We see Rama, but Naga is wrapped around him. Whose statues are found the most? Buddha, Vishnu, or Shiva? No, Naga. Is this temple dedicated to the reptile god Naga?
The reptile god Naga? Sounds like a Draco reptilian overlord if you ask me. But of course we have to dig into it. See what we can come up with.
These are Nagas from Cambodia, if you didn't know, but you probably should. Because they're hiding a secret. The secret is right there. You want to know what it is? I'm going to tell you what it is. Look real close at these snakes. They can be any variation from 1 to 12, but this one is 7, and it's 7 for a very important reason. Look at this thing. Now those little guys look like that big circle up there. Why is that? There's 7 colors in the visible light spectrum. That's your Roy G. Biv. There's 7 octaves in music. This is a wave phenomenon. Now look close at that. Does it look like the Mayan calendar? Does it look like a rose window? Maybe it should, because we can decode all of these with cymatics. Now that particular one is a 21-fold cymatic from Angkor Wat. Let's look at another one. This one is a 6 positive or a 12-fold cymatic from Neak Pien Temple. I'm probably butchering that. Cymatics is how we visualize tones in music through water. Each tone has a glyph. The ancients had a very special way of calculating this, and I feel like you should know it.
How incredible they're using the cymatic patterns that we see on the cathedrals. And here's a prime example on the chest piece of a Naga. Could Nagas be dragons?
The Nagas are legendary serpent-like beings found in Hindu and Buddhist mythology, as well as in various South and Southeast Asian cultures. They are commonly portrayed as serpents with human-like features, or as beings that can transform between a full serpent form and a human form, and are frequently shown with a snake's body and a human head, or as humans with serpent-like qualities. The Nagas in Indian mythology are said to reside in magnificent palaces beneath the earth and the waters, guarding vast treasures and sacred knowledge. They are guardians of the natural world, protectors of rivers, lakes, and treasures hidden beneath the earth. Yet, they can also be fierce and vengeful, bringing storms and floods when angered. In Hindu and Buddhist traditions, they play crucial roles, often appearing in stories of creation and destruction, of protection and retribution. In ancient Mesopotamia, among the ruins, we find the Anunnaki, powerful deities said to have descended from the heavens. These beings, described in ancient Sumerian texts, were thought to have shaped the destiny of humanity, bestowing upon them the gifts of civilization and knowledge, despite the vast distances and differences in culture.
The fallen Malakim, I believe is what it's called.
Both Hindu and Sumerian tell tales of beings with extraordinary powers and profound influence over human affairs. The Nagas and the Anunnaki, though separated by geography, share intriguing similarities. Both are depicted as possessing advanced knowledge and technology, as having a significant impact on human history. Could it be that these two—
Look at the cymatic on his chest.
Two ancient races, the Nagas of India and the Anunnaki of Mesopotamia, are not distinct entities, but rather different interpretations of the same beings? Is it possible that these serpent-like and celestial figures share a common origin, their stories merely echoes of a single, forgotten truth?
Nephilim and fallen angels, this is what I believe they are.
Serpents and dragon-like creatures that astonish the most. The site is believed to be several centuries old, yet its exact age remains unknown.
Those Nagas are pretty creepy. In fact, I believe we found the real one. Let me show you this quick clip. The 7-headed Naga. Let's see. Look at the detail how it was carved. Wow. They definitely stumbled upon something here. Damn, this one looks a little bit too real, doesn't it? It looks like it's petrified. Imagine if this is like a giant's hand or a Medusa hand. How many is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7-headed. This reminds me of the Hydra on Godzilla. How crazy is this? This one might actually be petrified is the first thoughts I'm thinking.
No, this is not Angkor Wat in Cambodia. This is the Phi Temple. This is the question that has haunted all experts. Who is this temple dedicated to? Buddha, Vishnu, or Shiva? Let's go into the main chamber and find out. You can see a central figure in a silhouette. What is that? As we go closer, something gets clearer. It is Lord Buddha sitting majestically. There is something quite mystical about the statue. So, is the Phi Temple a Buddhist temple? Because the main statue is Lord Buddha.
When they add the tails in the back, it reminds me of the 9 tails.
No, this lintel shows an amazing scene from the Hindu epic Ramayana. Rama, who's the avatar of Lord Vishnu, is shown as the giant figure in the center, who is powerful enough to knock this great god unconscious. Look at what is wrapped around him. The Naga. This weapon is called the Naga Pasha, and it was the Naga that knocked him unconscious. We see Buddha, but Naga is towering over him. We see Rama, but Naga is wrapped around him. Whose statues are found the most? Buddha, Vishnu, or Shiva? No, Naga. Is this temple dedicated to the reptile god Naga?
The reptile god Naga? Sounds like a Draco reptilian overlord if you ask me. But of course, we have to dig into it. See what we can come up with.
These are Nagas from Cambodia, if you didn't know, but you probably should. Because they're hiding a secret. The secret is right there. You want to know what it is? I'm going to tell you what it is. Look real close at these snakes. They can be any variation from 1 to 12, but this one is 7, and it's 7 for a very important reason. Look at this thing. Now those little guys look like that big circle up there. Why is that? There's 7 colors in the visible light spectrum. That's your Roy G. Biv. There's 7 octaves in music. This is a wave phenomenon. Now look close at that. Does it look like the Mayan calendar? Does it look like a rose window? Maybe it should, because we can decode all of these with cymatics. Now that particular one is a 21-fold cymatic from Angkor Wat. Let's look at another one. This one is a 6 positive or a 12-fold cymatic from Neak Pien Temple. I'm probably butchering that. Cymatics is how we visualize tones in music through water. Each tone has a glyph. The ancients had a very special way of calculating this, and I feel like you should know it.
How incredible they're using the cymatic patterns that we see on the cathedrals. And here's a prime example on the chest piece of a Naga. Could Nagas be dragons?
The Nagas are legendary serpent-like beings found in Hindu and Buddhist mythology, as well as in various South and Southeast Asian cultures. They are commonly portrayed as serpents with human-like features, or as beings that can transform between a full serpent form and a human form, and are frequently shown with a snake's body and a human head, or as humans with serpent-like qualities. The Nagas in Indian mythology are said to reside in magnificent palaces beneath the earth and the waters, guarding vast treasures and sacred knowledge. They are guardians of the natural world, protectors of rivers, lakes, and treasures hidden beneath the earth. Yet, they can also be fierce and vengeful, bringing storms and floods when angered. In Hindu and Buddhist traditions, they play crucial roles, often appearing in stories of creation and destruction, of protection and retribution. In ancient Mesopotamia, among the ruins, we find the Anunnaki, powerful deities said to have descended from the heavens. These beings, described in ancient Sumerian texts, were thought to have shaped the destiny of humanity, bestowing upon them the gifts of civilization and knowledge, despite the vast distances and differences in culture.
The fallen Malakim, I believe is what it's called.
Both Hindu and Sumerian tell tales of beings with extraordinary powers and profound influence over human affairs. The Nagas and the Anunnaki, though separated by geography, share intriguing similarities. Both are depicted as possessing advanced knowledge and technology, as having a significant impact on human history. Could it be that these two—
Look at the cymatic on his chest.
Ancient races, the Nagas of India and the Anunnaki of Mesopotamia, are not distinct entities, but rather different interpretations of the same beings? Is it possible that these serpent-like and celestial figures share a common origin, their stories merely echoes of a single, forgotten truth?
Nephilim and fallen angels, this is what I believe they are.
Begin to realize that they can use light frequencies to destroy the leptin melanocortin pathways in the brain to control people. They don't need LSD, they don't need mescaline, they don't need anything else, okay? And the reason why this program gets changed is during its evolution, they find out that people that have heavily melanated skin are the most difficult to control, okay? So there's another DARPA program that you may have heard about. I'm sure Whitney Webb and Mark Godwin have heard about it, but have never linked it to this story. It's called the Targeted Individual Program. In other words, how you control people utilizing remote technology. Well, who's the guy that actually really discovered this whole thing? Alan Fry. Alan Fry's looked at a good guy in my world. Why? He's the first guy that showed that when you zap a brain with any type of electromagnetic radiation, it opens the blood-brain barrier. So you can take bad and get it in. What magically happens in the United States at that time? People start making processed food. What also magically happens? To come on market, and they have a lot of fillers and preservatives in them. Guess what? All those fillers and preservatives and all the fake processed shit was really about. It was about figuring out how to get toxins from your gut into your brain so that you could electromagnetically target them. That is actually what happens between MK Ultra into SRI. Begin to realize.
Is that the new MK Ultra upgraded version, SRI?
They're also extremely interested in any of the rhesus negative blood, particularly O negative and actually AB negative. AB negative is the rarest of all of the rhesus negative blood groups. But going back to B positive or B negative blood group works like a hive blood group, works like a hive mind blood group. Not to say that anybody who has B blood is not an individual themselves, it's just on a collective level. They are working for a single agenda without knowing it. So if you could amass a huge amount of people with blood group B, then you could have sort of an army working for you, and each individual would be unknown that they are actually part of the collective.
I gotta be honest, I forgot all about blood types. But saying that they're easily to be controlled, hive-minded, that is crazy. Which blood type are you?
This is another one of the most disturbing experiments in history. Today we're talking about MK Ultra. And it all started with one simple and very disturbing question. Can we control minds? In the 1950s, the CIA literally wanted to find a way to create mindless super soldiers, kind of like Bucky as the Winter Soldier or a real-life Manchurian Candidate. But this wasn't a movie, this was history, and history has a habit of repeating itself when we stop looking. Reminder, I cover a lot of dark stories on this channel, so viewer discretion's advised, but follow along if you want to hear more. So this all started because during this time, America was obsessed with communism. This was the Cold War, and it brought levels of paranoia to unknown levels of insanity. It was so extreme, in fact, that the CIA felt they needed better weapons for psychological warfare. So they created a program in order to develop tools to control people's minds, all funded by US tax dollars. Like I said, the goal was to create mindless super soldiers, or assassins, like they could brainwash them into carrying out dangerous missions without the soldiers knowing about it. They also wanted to create truth serums as a reliable way to extract information from potential spies. So how did they do this? So they tried a few things, but the majority of this was like a ton. They gave it to soldiers, scientists, even civilians. And sometimes they knew they were taking it, and sometimes they didn't. They'd also use hypnosis, sleep and sensory deprivation, and electroshock therapy. This was all done in an effort to psychologically destabilize people. Essentially, the idea was to break people's identities down enough that they were in like a dissociative state, and they turned into obedient zombies. Here's the thing. All the experiments performed in MKUltra were, at its best, pseudoscience, and at its worst, it was sadism in a lab coat. All of the experiments done were founded off of theories and no real scientific foundation. Like, they might as well have been doing this in potions class at Hogwarts. The consequences for the participants were devastating. The majority of the subjects suffered severe psychological trauma as a result of being without their consent. Some had breakdowns so intense that they never fully recovered. Some were left with permanent mental health issues. In a notorious case linked to this experiment, a scientist was given without his knowledge in a hotel room, and he had a psychological breakdown so intense he threw. MKUltra was shut down in the 1970s because, surprise, surprise, we did not get any super soldiers or truth serums from these unscientific experiments. Just a lot of very confused and very damaged people. And MKUltra goes down as one of the most disastrous, barbaric, and ethically bankrupt experiments in history.
Talk about dissociative identity disorder as the PC term for MKUltra mind control programming, or Project Monarch. I'm going to cover the history, the presentation. Let's talk about dissociative identity disorder as the PC term for MKUltra mind control programming, or Project Monarch. I'm going to cover the history, the presentation, the modalities used for programming, and maybe even address the why. Okay, so let's start with epigenetics. Epigenetics is the genetic transmitting of information, learned experience from one generation to another biologically, so not through nurture, but nature alone. So the elite 13 bloodline families, or the powers that be, think Rockefellers, Rothschilds, DuPonts, they have been sort of nurturing this dissociative ability because it is passed epigenetically from one generation to the other. So the combination of both this genetic capacity for dissociation coupled with hundreds of years of occult satanic ritual abuse has created bloodline lineages and individuals who have the ability to disassociate. Now let's talk about the word disassociate. Even the DSM that goes over all the different mental health disorders doesn't have a clear term for disassociation, but essentially it is either compartmentalized amnesia and or the disconnect or the failure to integrate multiple aspects of a personality which are unaware of the existence of other parts of that same personality. Now, why would this be done intentionally to an individual where, one, they have the genetic capacity for it to begin with? So there's some screening and some selection that goes into this. And two, once this incredibly expensive and incredibly time-consuming programming process is complete, you've essentially created a metahuman, a superhuman that can access their paranormal sixth sensory abilities like telepathy, telekinesis, incredible stamina, and incredible tolerance of pain. And also the ability to be triggered and commit atrocious, horrendous, horrific acts of violence or atrocity without any remorse or regret because of a complete absence of cognitive memory of it. Manchurian candidates, sleeper assassins.
The agenda that's revealing itself today has been in our faces all along, hidden within the posters of what seems like every major Hollywood movie. I'm gonna show you just how deep this goes. In fact, I found so much, this will be the first of a playlist, beginning with The Lord of the Rings. Now mirroring the left side of the image, I want to draw your attention to this area. More specifically, these eyes. I'm going to zoom in for you and adjust the exposure while you stay locked in on the eyes and let your peripheral vision make out the rest. In case you don't see it, I got you. The edges aren't perfect because I had to use my finger to white out the background, but you see it now. And I know some of you know exactly what this is meant to represent. For those of you who don't, it's meant to represent a non-human species that some people believe exists. It's also believed that the biblical serpent in the garden was referenced to this species. Kind of bizarre to have this hidden in a movie poster, and drawing attention back to the eyes so you can make out the rest of the image. It also looks like it has a high-collared cape, like a vampire, which is strange because this species has also been known for the thirst of blood. I digress. Now I want to draw attention to this area. You can see a demonic face grinning with an elongated head that resembles a common description of an alien. And then by simply adjusting the exposure, you'll notice it starts to change its form. And now it looks like it has devil horns. Not only that, but the way he's in the middle with people on each side, I believe this is also mocking the First Supper. I also noticed that the collar of the cape doubles his eyelids to serpent eyes. And now I want to draw attention to this area. Again, adjusting the exposure, this one definitely isn't hard to see. Explaining exactly what it is another thing. But if I had to describe it, it looks like a demonic miniature Ninja Turtle with Baphomet horns, with a book open in front of it. Now this one, I almost didn't catch. Going back to this area, ignoring the demonic alien face I pointed out before, you'll notice the silhouette of a face with a turban. And now I'm sure you can see the neck and shoulders. This part of the turban confirmed it for me. What's strange about also having a genie, the species I mentioned before, although it could be different from what's known as the jinn, essentially demons, some believe this is the same thing as the jinn. And the word genie originally comes from jinn. Stand by for part 2, where I mirror the right side. And I'll leave you with a sneak peek into another movie poster. Those who have eyes, let them see.
I felt like I was watching a horror movie and stuff was slowly unfolding. Dang, that reminds me of the Prince Charles or the King Charles portrait. You gotta see this if you haven't. And keep your head on a straight swivel.
It's kind of like a massacre or something here. It'd be really cool as like a, rock music cover album or something, album cover or something maybe.
It looks like he's, I don't know. It's a good photo. I'm not gonna lie. It is a good photo. I think it's artistically drawn well. I like it, but I do think it has a creepy and scary vibe. Ghoulish, like she said. I don't see the ghoulish aspect. More of a, it's definitely giving some scary vibes. The butterfly, I don't know if you noticed the butterfly. What it symbolizes to me, very interesting. Your guys' thoughts below on this photo. Keep it going on these waters.
So I saw this online, and before I posted it, I wanted to check if it was right. So I cropped in half one of the pictures of King Charles, and I mirrored it, and then I cropped it again. So I have two of the same picture. Now I am taking it in on the right hand side in order to make one of them smaller. Now, as you can see, I've opened up my Instagram stories because I find it really easy to edit things together. It's a little bit awkward. This is the picture the correct way up. Now I'm going to turn it upside down. I find Instagram really easy to mess around and spin pictures around. Now I'm going to get the other version that I took the right hand side off and match them up together. Take a look at that. That's why I had bad vibes about this picture. As soon as I saw it and the red, and it just seemed a little demonic to me, but there you go.
It is literally smiling. You see the smile. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is definitely not good. Yeah, this is definitely getting creepy now.
There were literal cobwebs on my art history degrees when I went to take them off the wall for this video, but as your accredited royal art historian, let's talk about this portrait. This is the first completed portrait of King Charles to be unveiled since his coronation, and I, as always, have thoughts. It was painted by British artist Jonathan Yeo in 4 separate sittings beginning in 2021, which the king was personally present for. He stood in front of Jonathan Yeo 4 times to get this portrait painted. So he knew what this was gonna look like, and he still. So first, let me approach this as an art historian. What we have here is a very contemporary portrait of King Charles III with some interesting symbolism going on. Immediately, I noticed 2 things. Well, okay, 3 things. Number 1, the color. Yes, that is abrasive. I want to return to that later. Number 2, he is wearing the formal military uniform of the Regimental Colonel of the Welsh Guards, a rank he was given in 1975. Also, don't you love the BBC here trying to be as tactful as possible? It is a vibrant painting. Yeah, that's for sure. But okay, Welsh Guards uniform, reference to his very long tenure as Prince of Wales. We also have the butterfly, which in art history is a classic symbol of rebirth because they literally undergo a process of metamorphosis. So here we are probably referencing Prince Charles transitioning to the role of King Charles. But Yeo has also stated that the butterfly has a second meaning as a symbol of the king's interest in the environment. It says he asked King Charles, when school children look at this portrait in 200 years, what clues do you want to give them about the kind of king that you were? And he claims it was Charles who suggested a butterfly landing on his shoulder, which could also be a symbol meant to suggest that he's kind and he's gentle, a nice enough guy that a butterfly would want to land on him. And that's all well and good. But the color, even as a lover of contemporary portraiture, the color is giving me so much pause. Because unless Yeo is trying to be a little subversive here, I don't understand the point of it. Because he clearly understands, after asking King Charles, what do you want people to remember you for, that's the point of a royal portrait, to convey a certain message about yourself and about your reign as monarch. That's why classical traditional royal portraits are so stately. They have these monarchs in this power pose, either showing off their beautiful calves or their, luscious codpiece. Did I just say luscious codpiece? King Charles' great-grandfather here, George V, is doing the traditional power pose in the robes of state next to the imperial state crown, telling you how powerful he is, how much land he oversees. An even more recent example, Will and Kate in their first portrait as Prince and Princess of Wales, they are conveying both a certain regalness, but also an approachability. This, I don't know the point of taking an already very stately, regal pose and just drenching it in a blood red. There have been comparisons to...
I wouldn't say blood red. I think it's more of like a pinkish, but it's definitely giving you creepy vibes. I'm not steering it away, but, I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's hard, but it definitely is creepy at the same time. Maybe that's just my taste.
To the infamous Camilla's tampon line, the elevator from The Shining, the portrait from Ghostbusters. It's not good. This is not a sympathetic color visually. I did run this picture through Canva to see what we could have had. If we wanted to go with the environmental route, let's just make it green. I like this. If we wanted to go with the sympathetic route, let's make it blue. I did try yellow because that's a happy color, but this is not giving what I wanted it to give. It's giving King Midas, to be honest. And Charles wants to get away from the monarchy is too expensive line of thinking. This is not the first first time that a royal portrait has gone down poorly with the public. Queen Elizabeth was the victim of some truly, truly unflattering images during her long reign, which this is an interesting portrait artistically. But given what a royal portrait is supposed to do, show a monarch as strong and capable, this by Lucian Freud missed the mark.
They did their best to try to butcher this because, you know, these are good strokes. You know what I'm saying? You look up here, you know, even for you to even pat the diamonds on this, you would have to be talented. So once you came down here and you got, you know, those strokes stop being, you know, as smooth up here. They were trying to give this look. They were trying to do this.
Even if you don't want to go the photorealistic route, I have seen royal portraits be done successfully in a more abstracted contemporary style. This portrait of the Duke of Edinburgh is by Jonathan Yeo, same guy who painted this. This portrait of Camilla as the Duchess of Cornwall by the same artist. Camilla was said to have looked at this portrait of Charles and said, "You've got him," meaning that the artist captured the essence of Charles as a person, which in the face I don't disagree with. It was also reported that King Charles was a little taken aback by the bold color choice. Yeah, artistically, love this. Just like artistically, I loved this portrait of Catherine when she was Duchess of Cambridge. But for the message that the royals are trying to convey, this didn't work, and I don't think that this works either. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
He did do a little shrug jump, you know. He deserves an Oscar for that because we all know he already seen it before they released it. You know, if I got a portrait of myself that the world's going to see that, you know, is super important, you know, I'm going to need to proofread that a little bit, you know, just a quick glance before you show everyone, you know. I don't know. You guys tell me your thoughts below. Think, what do you guys honestly think about the portrait? Do you think it's a good painting? Do you think the colors were off? Do you think he did a good job? I really don't know too much about the dude, to be honest, you know, but that's just on me based off the information that I just gathered. It sounded like the butterfly landing, the rebirth, you know, it kind of did what they wanted him to do, and by the looks of all his other paintings, this is probably his best work. That's crazy. No matter if you have this painting flipped upside down or forward, side by side, you get something sinister right there. You know, this looks definitely sinister in the middle. And now the blood red, they definitely, you know, added a little bit more though, but you can definitely see half of his face though right here. So yeah, this painting is I'm getting real creepy vibes about it.
King Charles looks like he's burning in hell on a new official portrait.
They presented him with a painting of himself in hell.
That looks like a hell of a lot of bloodshed.
Why did they let him be made to look like Lucifer himself?
Some suggested that the king must have felt attacked after the infernal portrait reveal.
Oh, look at his face. That was his face when he saw the painting, like, oh boy.
Yeah. I would feel very attacked by that portrait as well. That's a statement.
The butterfly on the monarch's shoulder sparked various interpretations as well.
And then they threw in a little butterfly, you know, for a sign of life. Something cute.
A symbol of the king's focus on climate and quote-unquote green issues.
King Charles looks like he...
Most of us fighting this dude every single day. So it's, you know, Wow, they're saying this is a negative? So no matter how you spin this photo, you're going to find stuff in it. That's why he did it. Oh my goodness. That looks like a straight Anunnaki in the middle, doesn't it? Tell me that doesn't look like an Anunnaki in the middle. What? Bro's got the beard. Let me zoom in on this. Tell me this doesn't look like some type of Egyptian or Anunnaki with the tiger. It looks like some type of a tiger jaguar on the top. We got the it almost looks reptilian. I'm also seeing a little reptilian on the top, honestly. Once you really, really look at it, you can see the reptilian with horns on the top. You can see the mustache. The negative exposes a lot. Putting this under negative exposes a lot. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below about this. What does it look like to you? What is it trying to say?
Palace, a century of royal photography, including photos of the Queen Mother in the 1930s, right through the reign of Queen Elizabeth, and recent photos of King Charles following his coronation. Also, in the coming months, they're opening up parts of Buckingham Palace previously off limits.
Check that out back there. You guys see that back there? Tartarian. This right here. See this building? Where have we seen these type of buildings before? We can't escape them even if we try to. They've been here and we can't replicate them.
The archives here at Elizabeth coronation, opening up parts of Buckingham Palace previously off limits to visitors after years of internal restoration. Details on 7 News throughout the day.
Is that his son? I'm so lost in these waters, man. Is this his son? Who is this? All right, now he looks like Zordon upside down.
What would this mean if it were a dream? This is going to be a fun one. Okay, if you haven't seen this already, this is the official coronation portrait of King Charles that was unveiled a few days ago by artist Jonathan Yeo. You can see it down the information down there. Let me move my image here so you can see it. There's all this stuff. This came from the People magazine online article. Okay, so if I woke up and I just had this dream image in my mind, and it was a red square, a vivid red square with the vague outline of a man sitting in sort of a regal position, where his face was clearly visible and his uniform was red and sort of camouflaged into the background of the square itself. And in my dream image, there was a black butterfly acting as if it was landing on the shoulder of the man. Here's the symbolism. The first thing I see is that the detail, this black butterfly, is the thing I'm going to start with. So in dreams, when you have this like kind of random detail, that's where, for me, I would want to dive in first, okay? So butterflies are a symbol of transformation, and this isn't the cocoon or the stage before the cocoon. So this is post-transformation. The butterfly is black, which symbolically for me, especially right now while I'm bringing this image to mind for me, is black so that it stands out, not so that it is a threatening color. It's also black because it is a shadow, meaning for me, maybe the light is coming from the back and shadowing this image. So what that symbolically might suggest, if this were my own dream image, is that the light in my life right now is behind me, not in front of me. So there is a light source behind me that is creating a shadow of this butterfly. So the butterfly is this projection of the image. In fact, the butterfly probably is behind me as well, so that its shadow looks like it is aligned with my shoulder. It's also on my right side if I'm sitting in that position, right? So the right side in dream interpretation usually is the masculine qualities of life or masculine energies. The things that occur on the left side are more feminine and receptive. So this is something I am portraying to the world as opposed to something I am receiving from maybe the deeper parts of me or from the unconscious space. So I am consciously projecting this shadow of a butterfly out into the world. Okay, this is all real time. I paused it so I could gather my thoughts, but my brain is just firing right now. Here's the deal. That shadow butterfly that I am showing to the world, because it's that right side of my image, is actually something that it's something that has matured before me. And it's something that is advising me because it is hovering. You know, the sort of angel and devil on your shoulder kind of concept. This is a shadow of something advising me that has matured before me. In my interpretation, that feels like the Queen, my mother, Queen Elizabeth. Now, the second really prominent detail that I notice in this portrait is that this man's face is more clear than his hands, right? Both are skin tone and should be showing, but what's prominent is my head and face. Symbolically says to me, I am facing the world, right? Dreams use puns, and so I am facing the world head on. It also shows, though, symbolically, that I am all in my head. There is no embodiment in this image, so I am disconnected from the embodying my reality, and I am in my head and thinking, and I'm operating from up here. Okay, let's talk about this red. If this were my dream image, I notice that it is vivid in its like saturation, but it is not solid. This is like red, it's like a wash of red. Like if you were to like whitewash a fence, you know, and it's got some thinness to it. This red is very, very, very thin while at the same time being very vivid. And if I look closely at the specific coloration, there's actually a lot of pink in this red, which to me symbolizes heart and like fresh not fresh blood. Fresh blood is a deep dark red. This is like more, I mean, look at my shirt. It's like this pinkish color. So this is a little bit more having to do symbolically in my dream, if this were my interpretation, having to do with heart-centeredness rather than, oh, compassion. There's the word. This has to do with compassion for me. So it is vibrant and stark at first, but the longer I look at it, the more the color actually softens and has a lot of other depths in it. And it, to me, brings up compassion.
I think that's a beautiful point she just made. That doesn't really explain all the different entities when we put them together and flip them upside down. And you could see half of one's face right here. You can see the eyes, the nostril, and the horn starting to produce right there. So, you know, but if you ignore that and you just look at the picture of him, the butterfly, you put the focus on him, the butterfly, the background, and you're looking at it for a little bit, you kind of can get that sense that it's inside his heart, kind of. I get that part, and I think that's beautiful how she describes that, because that actually made me feel more, you know, when people are looking at art, that's a different appreciation. Like I always wondered, people go to art galleries, art museums, and they'll be, you know, looking at stuff. They'll be like, you know, really glancing at it, you know, but now I'm starting to get what's going through people's heads by her describing, by looking at a painting, what changes while you're looking. Like it's in depth, you know, we can only gather so much from the painting, but so much is going on. So that gave me a whole new understanding of looking at it, you know, and I can see it kind of inside his heart with the pink. You know, obviously they couldn't make it too obvious for us and put it orange with flames, you know, but looking on the other side of the fence, I can see it a little bit. If he didn't put this eye right here or this, you can obviously see he was trying to make something right here, you know, but if he didn't put this black patch right here, or this little horn or whatever right here, it could have been exactly what she's saying. But because we got half his face right there, it still makes it a creepy, scary boy. So I feel it though.
So even though it is a soldier's uniform that this man in my dream is wearing, the suggestion of the coloration of all of it is that it is coming from a heart-centered place of compassion. That is the statement that this dream would be making to me. Okay, I just noticed something else, and I know we're just talking, I just could do this for hours, so I just noticed something else, and that is that the face color, the skin color. Now, I'm not standing in front of this portrait in real life. This is an image of an image pulled off of a, you know, public site. So I've just got to go off of this. If this were my dream image, it is grayed out. The skin tone is grayed out. And it looks to me, the tone of the skin looks to me to be, tired is the word that's coming up. But there's also something else to it. Let me see if I can come up with what's in my head right now. I've been staring at this for a long time, trying to come up with the right words. And here's what's coming up for me. Mellow. Sallow? I don't even know what sallow means, but that word.
Yeah, I kind of get what she's driving at. It's like almost like a smirk, but when you see the indentation on the eyes, it's like a, you know, help me at the same time. This is interesting, you know? If you look at his face, it's almost like he's not happy, but he's almost proud at the same time. But you see sadness. All that's going on. You know, so much emotion going on. I can tell you that he's not overjoyed. I can tell you that much. I can tell you he's not looking up like, you know, grateful and, you know, seeing everything and just like, yes. You know, I can tell you that's not the vibe here. Far from that. You know, we can all agree to that, but yeah. I like doing this, man. People worried about, you know, people worried about the Drake and whoever he's fighting. I don't even know the name of the dude. Some rap beef going on. You know, this is what we need to be talking about. Do y'all see this photo that just got released? You know, I believe this photo is scripted. They orchestrated this photo, but they orchestrating that, you know, rap conflict or whatever. You know, I like the music. You know, they got a good beat. You know, you already know, but you know, I'm just being real with you on these waters. That's all I can do.
Comes up. But also it's darkened like aged wood. So there's some life in it still, and there's some like almost like kind, wise elder is what it's trying to portray, but it also has the appearance of tired and subdued. Giving up is not the right word, Pam. It's like acceptance.
Subdued was a good word. Subdued was great. Subdued. You said it, sister. Subdued.
Surrender, not subdued. Surrendered, but not necessarily positive. Just surrender. Content, but a tired contentment. If this were my dream image, those would be the things that I would interpret out of everything I'm given here, all the details that are present in this image here. Okay.
They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. I want your guys' comments and thoughts on this. Tell me what you think. I know some of you guys are tough, you know, and you never comment on any videos, but, you know, jump on these waters with us, man. We trying to figure this out together. You can't be on these waters with us soaking up all the information and not contributing. You know, I'm holding y'all accountable now. Y'all be on my dome. I'm going to be on y'all dome too, you know, especially if you hate watching. At least, you know, hate watching, at least participate a little bit.
Okay, there you are.
Please, slides are available.
No,
no,
show me something.
no.
Mr. Big.
No photographs, please. Slides are available in the gift shop. Eh?
Yeah, thank you, Winston. All right, you know what? Give me angry. Will you give me angry if you had a bad day? You're cranky? Yeah, thank you. Good. Ooh, angrier. Ooh, you're scaring me. Stop it. Yeah. Good. Okay, walk for me. Talk for me. Yeah. Okay, give me hot and sexy. Can you do it? Oh, you can. Oh, boy. Show me some teeth. Come on. I bet the girls like you, huh? Huh? To the girls? To the guys? Bet they both do, huh? Huh? What about the animals? Do they like you? That's it. More. Yeah, come on. You're big. All right, destroy me. Destroy me now. Yeah. Destroy me. Yeah. Give it. Yeah.
We need to talk.
I've worked with better, but not many.
No.
That was my first time seeing that. I never seen that movie. And now I know y'all really gonna be on my dome. You like, this dude ain't seen Indiana Jones. He hasn't seen Ghostbusters. What is wrong with him? I'm excited I get to watch it now. Look at it like that. It's on my to-do list. It's on my watch list with hundreds of other movies. You know, but that was hilarious. You know, do the Ghostbusters snatch stuff out of the photos like Luigi's Mansion? Ooh. Is that what's going on here? Tell me y'all know about Luigi's Mansion. Well, basically, it's ghosts are living inside these photos, and that's how they get them. You know what I'm saying? They extract them. I don't know if Ghostbusters does the same thing. I've never seen it, but that's how they did it on Luigi's Mansion. We might be getting somewhere. Now we on Dark Waters 9 for real. Maybe a demon might be up in that painting. For real. What type of paint did they use? That's another question. Uh-oh. Where's my notes? What type of paint is that? Huh? Don't let it be that Chrome BMX Chrome stuff you guys was talking. What if they use that code word BMX Chrome? Y'all know what I'm talking about as the painting for that. That would be outlandish, wouldn't it? But what did I just say, man? That was a good one. I was gonna write it down. Ghost paintings. We're gonna dig off in ghost paintings. I'm gonna dig off in the lineage of King Charles because I don't even know who it is. So we gotta dig off in ghost paintings. We gotta dig off in King Charles, but there's another one. Oh yeah, I was gonna show y'all Luigi's Mansion. Now it kind of looks like an eagle.
Oh, you done it this time, buddy. This is not looking good. This is a picture of King Charles. Now, what really bothers me is that when they showed him this picture, he smiled. He was happy. This picture looks like he's burning. In hell, I may say. But not only that, guys, this picture is giving me vibes. Yeah, that's what I'm starting to think this guy is. Pay attention and understand. It's right in front of your face. Now, this picture is very scary, very spooky, and I wouldn't want no picture like this around me nowhere. I don't care if it was me in it. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even paint myself in a picture like this. This looks bad. This is looking real demonic, to be honest with you. Comment below, share this post, and let everybody know the new picture of King Charles. I'm starting to think that he's the I don't even gotta say the other word. Pay attention, guys. I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, I think he ain't anti. That's a reach. But it is creepy and scary, I agree.
3, 2, 1. Oh, good heavens.
Marvellous, isn't it, sire?
It's very red.
Quite. It really brings out the colonial legacy in your eyes, sir.
I'm not sure about the style of it.
It's giving period drama.
Yes, well, I have had a few of those.
You certainly have.
Be quiet, Camilla.
What is it you don't like about it, sire?
Well, it's just my fingers look like swollen sausages of nepotism.
And in the painting?
How much was it?
A few million, maybe a quarter of a coronazione.
Well, it's awful. You see, this is why I ask what colour things are before I see them. Out of the way, rude boy. 3, 2, 1.
That was hilarious.
The House of the Red Dragon is falling. We've all seen this portrait of King Charles. Even he was startled when they unveiled it. And this is an incredibly startling picture. But notice how I said the fall of the Red Dragon Order. Let me explain to you why this painting is red. So King Charles, or Queen Elizabeth's ancestral line, is actually tied to Vlad the Impaler of Romania. But not only this, the Tudors of England claim that they were descendants of those princes, including the dragon as their family crest, specifically a red dragon, hence the red painting. Now, Vlad Dracula, the Impaler of current-day Romania, was inducted into the Order of the Dragon, and it's also a red dragon. This is the crest of the Order of the Dragon, hence why it's red. Now, why do I bring up this mythical creature, the dragon? Why are the ancients so obsessed with the dragon? Dragons are actually not as mythical as you think. They are primordial energies. They are creator gods, creators of cosmos, universes. These ancients were stupid. They knew what these gods were, these dragons were. And it's not just England that speaks of a red dragon. In China, especially where I'm from a small island in China off the East Coast, the people here worship a golden dragon, which represents Christ consciousness. And in the ancient Americas, they worshipped Quetzalcoatl, which is like a rainbow dragon. Now, the Order of the Red Dragon has fallen. Now, I'm not saying all dragons are evil. Every dragon has a different representative of its energy. Now, unfortunately, the red dragon has been tied to control, hedonism, envy, lust, all the satanic roots. Now its bloodline is falling, and we can tell it's falling because they're trying their hardest, their absolute damn hardest, to grasp onto the final little straws that are available to them. But we as humanity are now going into the age of Aquarius, which is supposed to be the age of Christ consciousness. The red dragon has fallen, but the golden dragon will rise. The golden dragon, or the Christ consciousness dragon, is also responsible for the teachings of Jesus Christ, or Yeshua. A lot of us also have dragons as spirit guides. I know mine is definitely the golden Christ dragon, because I was literally born in the sacred place that it is worshipped in. But you could have a spirit guide of also a blue dragon, a red dragon. There's so many different types of dragons, a white dragon. Not only did the English believe that the royalty descended from dragons, so did the royals of China. Again, these ancients are not stupid. Humanity has a close tie to the dragon energy. If you wish to learn more about primordial gods, the creation of Earth, how we were trapped into this matrix by the fallen angelics, how we can ascend to Christ consciousness, my book, Made in God's Image, is linked in my bio. I go in depth about everything you need to know that
You're not Slick Charles.
I have no idea who this dude is. No idea. I know that's Prince Harry. So is that his dad?
Is the direct descendant of Vlad the Impaler. Did you know Prince Charles is the direct descendant of Vlad the Impaler? Vlad was
All I typed in is who is King Charles, and this is what's popping up. I mean,
the inspiration for our modern day Dracula because, wait for it, he would create forests of thousands of impaled, defeated enemies and sit in the middle of them and eat them. Take note of that castle in the background.
The genealogy shows that I'm descended from Vlad the Impaler, so I do have a bit of a stake in the country.
Now, Charles actually spends most of
he literally said that. That's people ain't making this up. This is his words.
the year living in that exact castle in Transylvania with orphans from the Royal Family Foundation. You can't make this stuff up, folks. Did you know Prince Charles is the direct descendant of Vlad the Impaler?
Did you guys catch that joke? He said, I do have a bit of stake in this country. So he knows. He said it. You know, where do you think these people went? Do you think these powerful families that was reigning back in the day just upped and disappeared? Where did you think they went? In the Dracula castle. How was that built? Transylvania, is that real? Uh-oh. Y'all already know. My notes is noting. We're gonna figure it out.
Prince Charles is a vampire.
The Prince of Wales, in a web of intriguing royal genealogy, shares a connection to Vlad the Impaler, the historical figure who served as a muse for Bram Stoker's iconic character, Count Dracula. This link unfurls a captivating narrative through the annals of history. What's more, this royal lineage boasts a history of porphyria, a rare condition characterized by iron deficiency culminating in heightened sensitivity to sunlight. The convergence of these historical connections raises captivating questions about potential influences on the Dracula legend and the enigmatic threads that define the genetic legacy of royalty. These connections and depth of our understanding of history, folklore, and the enduring allure of mysteries embedded in the tapestry of bloodlines that span generations. Prince Charles is a vampire.
So now we're in vampire territory. How exciting. You thought vampires was fake, didn't you? Well, guess what, buddy? That painting's starting to make a little bit more sense now that we're diving into this, huh? You know, the Vlad, I had no idea. You know, Dracula, I've heard of that. That movie with that movie Dracula, that new one, that's my movie, man. I love that movie. That movie goes in. If you haven't seen it, you need to check that one out.
Who is King Charles III? The UK's new king takes over from his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, who reigned for 70 years. At 73, Charles is the oldest person to assume the UK throne. He's now head of 15 countries, and his wife Camilla is the Queen Consort, which means wife of the king. Unlike the Queen, we know a bit more about Charles's views. He's spoken out on issues like the environment, but he's said before that as king he wouldn't be able to interfere with politics. Charles was the first British royal to earn a university degree, studying history at Cambridge. He spent 7 years in the armed forces and learned to fly helicopters in the Royal Navy. His first wife was Princess Diana. After their divorce and Diana's death, Charles married Camilla.
Oh, Princess Diana was his wife? Dang. My mom was sad when that happened. The Mercedes-Benz in the tunnel. I remember that. Wow. So that was his wife? Wow. I bet you that was devastating for him. Damn.
Charles has said he wants less working royals at lower cost and plans to represent modern Britain. At some point he'll have an official coronation. Who is King Charles?
Do you have any thoughts about the lady that the Prince of Wales should marry?
Yes. Well, I suppose, you see, it's really difficult because you've got to remember that when you marry...
Please don't tell me this is him. Please don't. Let me, look how I hate to play it back. Trust me, if y'all wanna...
Do you have...
Did y'all see that? Ugh. Y'all want to talk about creepy TikToks for real? This is probably the creepiest TikTok you're gonna see all day. Is this one?
Do you have any thoughts about the lady that the Prince of Wales should marry?
Yes. Well, I suppose,
Look at the fangs. The boy had fangs.
I suppose, you see, it's really difficult because you've got to remember that when you marry, in my position, you're going to marry somebody who perhaps one day is going to become queen. And you've got to choose somebody very carefully, I think. And it's got to be somebody pretty special. Because if you choose somebody who isn't used to it, it can, I think, probably cause them...
Do you have any thoughts?
Wait, what did he say at the end? It's gonna cause somebody to what?
I think. And it's got to be somebody pretty special. Because if you choose somebody who isn't used to it, it can, I think, probably cause them...
These waters are getting a little bit more deeper than intended, man. I wish I had the submersible ready for y'all, man, because it's getting deep, but your boy was... It's not... But yeah, these waters are getting a little bit deeper than intended.
Bore with great fortitude the emotion that the coming moments brought.
Alright guys, your thoughts below. That gold rod was interesting. I'm trying to figure out, you know, the whole setup in the castle. I'm just trying to piece my mind a little bit of what's really taking place here. We still got to dive into Transylvania. We still got to, the whole vampire thing being real. What?
Formerly the Prince of Wales, was 3 years old when he inherited the heir apparent title that he held for a record 7 decades. Charles. Formerly the Prince of Wales, was 3 years old when he inherited the heir apparent title that he held for a record 7 decades. Charles. Formerly the Prince of Wales, was 3 years old when he inherited the heir apparent.
If I miss, I spin again, spin again, spin again, and I might just hit it. I can never snitch. That's on my kid. I put a chopper on a blade, put a blade on his head. I keep my. If I miss, I spin again, spin again, spin again, and I might just hit it. I can never snitch. That's on my kid. I put a chopper on a blade, put a blade on his head. I keep my. If I miss, I spin again.
Charles likes to joke on television how he is related to Dracula.
His Royal Highness Prince Charles, who can trace his ancestry back to Romania's dark and distant past.
The genealogy shows that I'm descended from Vlad the Impaler, you see. So I do have a bit of a stake in the country.
As it were. These royals are the result of an incestuous breeding program wherein children were used as a way to gain power over the masses. Throughout the First World War, the people of England were questioning the loyalty of the German bloodlines who ruled over them, which prompted the royal family to change their name to Windsor in 1917. 9 years later, Queen Elizabeth was born, who was initiated into the Druid Order in 1946. King Charles likes to joke on
Druid Order. What in the world is a Druid Order? What is going on?
His birth was announced with a royal gun salute.
Unto us a child is born, and no ordinary child, a prince.
He was easily the most famous baby in the world. At the age of 3, when his mother became queen, Charles became the heir to the British throne. And that was his job for the next 7 decades.
He was always just a little bit of an outsider to start with.
Stonborough says the prince was far from popular during his school days.
Nobody wanted to be his friend, because if you were his friend, you were then teased brutally for being his friend.
In fact, Stonborough says Charles was lonely, shy, and badly bullied.
We were playing rugby football, and a couple of the boys decided that they were going to, quote, do the prince, which means beat him up. You know, pull his ears, punch him. He never complained. He never said a word.
Going home from his boarding school may not have been much comfort. The late Queen has been described as a distant mother. Prince Philip, a harsh father. And compounding Charles's problems was the media. In an interview as an adult with Britain's ITV, he revealed just how much he hated it.
I'm not very good at being a performing monkey, really. And I think that I'm quite a sort of private person. I'm not prepared to just perform.
Kind of reminds you of that, what was that boy band called? NSYNC? When they had that music video? Bye, 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 bye. Yeah, strings. Them strings. Somebody's pulling the strings. Hey, hey. Bye, 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 bye.
What exactly was the Habsburg Jaw? The Habsburg dynasty was What exactly was the Habsburg Jaw? The Habsburg dynasty was one of the most influential in Europe. Ensuring that the throne remained in the grip of the Habsburgs came centuries of inbreeding. As the throne was passed down, so was a long list of deformities. Some of these included bulbous lower lips, long noses, and sharply jutting jaws, the Habsburg jaw. Charles II of Spain was the Habsburg ruler of Spain after 16 generations of inbreeding. The family was so inbred that Charles II's grandmother and aunt were the same person. He was unable to chew his food, his tongue was so huge that he could barely speak, and he was completely illiterate. Dying at the young age of 39 with no children, this caused a 12-year-long war in Europe known as the War of Spanish Succession, putting an end to the Habsburgs' reign. What exactly was the
I would feel incredibly disrespected if someone looked at me in the face and said, you know what? You got a Habsburg. You got a Habsburg jaw. That's people used to do that in my high school all day. They used to call it flaming or roasting. And if somebody hit you with that one, a Habsburg jaw, if someone said that to me, that's them fighting words, man. I'm just kidding, man. That's just kidding. For entertainment purposes only. Man, you got a Habsburg jaw, dude. Get away from me. Hey, that's outlandish. Y'all funny.
We're broken. Nothing gonna save us.
Netflix movie coming out soon. King Charles. No, I'm just kidding. But I would watch it if they did, you know. You know, he said he hated performing like a monkey. That kind of makes me think when we go back to how he viewed his photo. He said he hate performing like a monkey. But I feel like this is all scripted. He knew about this. He said, just do a little shoulder jump for us, man. That's all you got to do. Just look at it. When you unveil it, Just do a little, give us one of those. That's all we need, man. Then go about your day. He's been doing this his entire life, you know, on those strings. So it's action. You know, this is nothing. This is light work. Just to snatch the cloth off and give y'all a little jump. That's nothing. I'll do that in one take.
I wanted to go through some of the genealogy stuff because this is really interesting and to me a little bit mind-blowing about the connections between this guy, who is Charles II, the King of England and various other places, and the upcoming king who's about to be coronated, Charles III. So, strap in. So Charles II did not have any legitimate children, which meant that when he died, the next king was his brother, and then it was his brother's daughters. Anyway, and so then the Stuart family dynasty ended with his niece, Queen Anne I, who was the one from The Favourite. Anyway, Charles II had numerous illegitimate children because he had numerous mistresses, and he was just like a guy who liked to fuck. And one of his mistresses was this woman, Louise de Keroualle, a.k.a. Phubs. And she was called Phubs because she was that meant like thick, but in like the 17th century. She was curvaceous, and so she was known as Phubs. Anyway, Phubs had a son with Charles II who was...
Where is she getting this information, first of all? Can anybody confirm this?
Called Charles Lennox. Now, Charles Lennox has two descendants I'm going to mention right now who you're probably pretty familiar with. One of the descendants of Charles Lennox is this lady, Camilla Parker Bowles. We're going to call her Queen Camilla now, I guess. And another descendant of Charles Lennox is this woman, R.I.P. Diana Spencer. So this means that Diana's children, Prince William and Prince Harry, and all of their kids are descendants of Charles Lennox, Phubs, and Charles II. And if you go back further, they're descendants of Mary Queen of Scots and whatever. But Camilla's children are also descendants of all of those same people. So Diana and Camilla, both descendants through the illegitimate branch of Charles II. So again, this guy, Prince William, through his mother, is a descendant of Charles II. So when he becomes king, whenever that happens, he'll be the first king of Great Britain who has Stuart ancestry since Anne I. But effectively it means, because the people who are going to be at the coronation, it's like William, Kate, their kids, Camilla, her kids, like they're all descendants of Charles II. In fact, the only person who's like got a main role to play on Coronation Day who is not a descendant of Charles II is this guy, Charles III. He's not descendant from Phubs. He's not descendant from Charles. He is not a Stuart descendant, unless you go way, way, way back. But his Stuart connection predates Charles II. Anyway, isn't that interesting?
Sounds like all a part of the plan, if you ask me.
When you marry, in my position, you're going to marry somebody who perhaps one day is going to become queen. And you've got to choose somebody very carefully, I think.
Growing up, every little girl dreams of a fairy tale wedding. Diana Spencer marries her prince, but sadly it seems clear from the start that she isn't going to get her happily ever after. Prince Charles and Diana's first official meeting had Charles devastated about the loss of his father figure, Lord Mountbatten. Prince Charles seemed enamoured by Diana, and she was optimistic at first about the idea of her marriage to Charles, apparently excited by the prospect of him being the only man who could never divorce her, a sentiment that did not age particularly well. Just 13 meetings in person prior to Charles proposing, he blew hot and then cold, calling every day for a week and then not phoning for 3 weeks. Diana had no idea where she stood. After months of back and forth, he finally popped the question in February 1981.
And I suppose in love. Of course. Whatever in love means.
But it didn't take long for everything to begin going sideways. The lead up to their wedding was filled with angst. Diana expresses doubt about going through with it after finding a bracelet made for Camilla Parker Bowles, a woman who Charles will continue to see throughout their marriage. She is told by her sister it is too late to call it off. She goes through with the wedding. Immediately, it becomes clear that Diana was correct in her assumptions about Charles. Diana is so depressed and lonely during their marriage, she throws herself down a flight of stairs at Sandringham. Charles is too busy with Camilla to care. In June 1982, the couple have their first child, Prince William. Diana suffers from postpartum depression, but again, despite going to multiple members of the royal family, she receives no support. They have their spare in 1984, Prince Harry. Diana and Charles grow closest while she was pregnant with Harry, but by this point the chasm between them is too wide to be fixed. Royal duties have now been met. Diana and Charles drift apart. The couple are plagued with rumours of marital trouble and separation. Sadly, there will be no fixing their relationship. It has all the ingredients of a Greek tragedy.
In 5, 4.
Hey, we're both thinking the same thing. Trust me. What you're thinking, I'm thinking too. Nothing else need to be said.
The real face of Bonnie Prince Charlie has finally been revealed in the form of a facial reconstruction. And I'm about to reveal it to you, but let me just double check you know who Bonnie Prince Charlie was. Bonnie Prince Charlie is best known for trying to get his father onto the throne of England, thus restoring the Stuart monarchy. Charlie and his father, James Stuart, failed their mission, and Charlie would live out the rest of his life in exile, going on to die of a stroke in his 60s. The nickname of Bonnie Charlie is an indicator that he was quite a handsome young man. Contemporary descriptions of Charlie describe him as having a high nose and quite a petite mouth. Compared to other people of history, we have quite detailed descriptions of him. One even includes mentioning that he had pimples on his chin. Most of these descriptions date to during the battles when he was in his 20s and 30s. But this is his death mask. As his skull is unavailable to us, it is this death mask that was used to recreate his face. The project to recreate Charlie's face was begun by Barbara Fessler, and she took 500 photos of his death mask from all different angles of him, showing wearing his powdered wig. So now let's find out, was Bonnie Prince Charlie so bonny? Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Charles Edward Louis John Sylvester Maria Casimir Stuart, or Bonnie Prince Charlie, at age about 24. Studying this painting of him, we can see the similarities, perhaps better so with this painting. And yet, this reconstruction probably isn't what people expected Bonnie Prince Charlie to look like. Some news articles have even gone with headlines such as Bonnie Prince Charlie not so much. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with this young man, but he doesn't look 24, he looks 16. Here's a painting, I believe it's contemporary, and here's the reconstruction. Can you see the similarity? He still has a very oval face. His features are very, very close. In fact, the painting, his lips look more luscious. In the reconstruction, his top lip looks significantly slimmer. He still has that high nose and a very rounded chin, and his eyes seem to be about the same proportions as well. He may not look anything like the portrayal of him in Outlander, but I don't think he's a bad-looking young man. I wonder where
I had no idea who Bonnie Prince Charlie. It sounds familiar, like I should know it, but
refresh the page. It's on CNN. It's on CNN and on
You know what? Your tuition really needs to go up. They have they've been building this for 10 years. They have a whole 2 weeks worth of news.
So who's taking over? Charles.
Who cares? Who cares? We lead this country. I don't give a shit. Do you remember there was a war and we won and we said.
did you hear him? He said, we beat their country. Who cares? Who really knows? I mean, it's his story. You know, we listening to somebody's story. So who really knows the truth? But this.
Done with you, loser. Remember that? And now we're simping for it.
I mean, but unfortunately, we're allies with them, so their political stuff.
It does matter. All right. Okay. Thanks. Now we've had our moment of silence.
Refresh the page. It's on CNN. It's on CNN and on.
You know what? Your tuition really needs to go up.
They look just alike. What y'all mean?
I made a man so happy when I wrote a letter once. I hope my children come and visit once or twice a month. Soon I'll be 60 years old. Will I think the world is cold? Or will I have a lot of children who can go near you? Soon I'll be 60 years old.
Have you heard about the guy who claims to be Prince Charles and Camilla's son? His name is Simon Durant Day, and he is 55 years old, living in Australia. He was born in April 1966 in the UK, which means that his conception happened around July 1965. He was adopted at 8 months old. Both of his adopted grandparents had worked for the Queen and Prince Philip. He says it was his adopted grandmother Winifred who outright told him he was Charles and Camilla's son. He cites lookalikes in his family as big evidence that he is actually their son. This is his daughter next to Princess Charlotte. And he's been fighting in court for years trying to get the royals to do a DNA test. But here's why he might be full of shit. In 1965, Charles would have been 17. He was still at boarding school and hadn't even been linked to a woman in the press yet. Camilla would have been 18 and was just preparing to enter society as a debutante. We don't know exactly when they first met, but it's likely in 1971 or 1972, not 1965. Have you heard about... Did you read it?
He trying to get that check. Oh my God. All right, y'all. We're moving on, man. We understand who they are now. I didn't, so I had to do a little dive into the lineage and see what's going on. But a couple interesting things. The Transylvania, the vampires, and Druid Order. What was the Druid Order about? Let's type that in.
We're looking at incredibly rare footage that the House of Windsor has attempted to censor. Just prior to her coronation as Queen of England, the Princess Elizabeth was initiated into the Welsh Druid Order. The Queen wore a green robe to signify her rank in the order, known as Vate or Ovate. The Vates had the role of seers, similar to the oracles of ancient Greece. It's very interesting to see these pictures because 99% of people out there assume the House of Windsor is a Christian royal family. This suggests otherwise. The
last druid of the old Gaelic order.
The order of which I may be the last member, by tradition, came into existence after the last great cataclysm or catastrophe which affected the world. Now, with these great and terrible impacts on the earth by great electrical storms being caught up in the tails of meteors or showers of meteorites, civilization as we know it was totally destroyed.
You talking about the reset or what?
With astronomy. All knowledge came within the ambit of the order, but they were particularly concerned with astronomy because they had experienced so many very significant calamities, and it was thought that a full knowledge of astronomy would enable them to predict conditions when these calamities were likely to take place and take some kind of action to protect themselves. If you look at the great megalithic complexes in Ireland, you'll see that what are described as passage graves are really bomb shelters of a very primitive kind. They are well above any tidal wave.
What?
And they also afford protection from meteoric showers.
Hey, for entertainment purposes only, it could have been those airships too. Man, that lines up. Those airships was sending them.
The last druid of the Old Gaelic Order.
The order of which I may be the last.
I feel like that's extremely important what he just said, guys. That was a major gem. Major gem. He said those was actually shelters. Did y'all catch that? Listen to what he said one more time. I gotta hear it again.
The ambit of the order, but they were particularly concerned with astronomy because they had experienced so many very significant calamities, and it was thought that a full knowledge of astronomy would enable them to predict really. If you look at the great megalithic complexes in Ireland, enable them to predict conditions when these calamities were likely to take place and take some kind of action to protect themselves. If you look at the great megalithic complexes in Ireland, you'll see that what are described as passage graves are really bomb shelters of a very primitive kind. They are well above any tidal wave level, and they also afford protection from meteoric showers.
That was a huge gem. All right. We gotta jump on this jet ski and jump into the megalithic bomb shelters. The megalithic shelters.
Astronomy built a megalithic site designed to capture the very first light of the winter solstice. Nestled over 5,000 years ago, an ancient civilization with knowledge of astronomy built a megalithic site designed to capture the very first light of the winter solstice. Nestled within the emerald landscape of Ireland's County Meath stands an imposing monument, a testament to the ingenuity and resilience of our ancient.
They said this was a bomb shelter from an ancient technology. They were flying when they built this. When they built this structure, they were flying. This is a gem right here. This is a gem. I didn't think King Charles would end up looking at Ireland, ancient Ireland shelters like this. I had no idea. That's why we on these dark waters, man. Hit that like and subscribe button, man. I know some of y'all a tough sell, but if you still watching this and you haven't hit that like button, hit that like one time, man. Even if you hate watching, I'm still, you know, rocking with you. Joe hating? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Ancient ancestors, this is Newgrange, a mystifying marvel that's even older than Egypt's Great Pyramids. Today, we take a journey back in time to unravel the secrets and mysteries of this prehistoric masterpiece. Constructed around 3200 BC during the Neolithic or New Stone Age period, Newgrange is a colossal circular mound spanning 85 meters in diameter and standing 13.5 meters tall. But it's not just what's on the outside that fascinates historians and archaeologists, it's what lies within. Beneath the surface is a 19-meter-long passageway leading to a central chamber with a corbelled roof, a true engineering marvel of the ancient world. This chamber, home to centuries-old secrets, was the final resting place for Stone Age Irish kings and nobles. Within this crypt, archaeologists uncovered a trove of artifacts from different eras, from golden Roman coin pendants to oval brooches, sun discs, and flint tools from an earlier era. The stone walls that encase this ancient tomb are adorned with complex engravings.
That's showing me, if we had to decipher this right here, something's flying in the air. This is some type of smoke or fire, or, you know, that's what I'm seeing. Something's flying in the air, or, you know, this is some type of smoke or fire. Your thoughts below. This is getting good. This is damn near proof of ancient flying technology, because they are trying to protect themselves from this. They're saying this is a strange, look at the title. Strange megalithic astrological site. This is huge. I haven't seen nobody talk about this one, man. This is nice.
Engravings, spirals, chevrons, and lozenges, a mysterious, untranslatable language of a culture long past. The purpose and meaning of these carvings remain an unsolved riddle, sparking theories and debates amongst experts. But
I see something flying like a dragon, or maybe like a giant moth they had back in the day. You know, on some Godzilla Mothman type stuff. Maybe they had a moth dropping them boys off. Hey, I'm questioning everything, and I'm just going by what I see. Tell me that doesn't look like a moth or butterfly. You know, I'm just putting the pieces together on these waters.
Riddle, sparking theories and debates amongst experts. But perhaps the most intriguing aspect of Newgrange is its alignment with the heavens. Every winter solstice, as dawn breaks, a shaft of sunlight penetrates the passage, bathing the inner chamber in a warm golden glow. This celestial spectacle lasts for just 17 minutes, marking the start of the new year in the ancient calendar. How did a society from over 5,000 years ago acquire such precise astronomical knowledge? And how did they construct this stone monument with such accuracy? These questions continue to perplex modern scientists. Some theorize that the builders used a system of sleds, rollers, and ramps to move and lift the stones, but that doesn't explain the other ancient structures here. Others suggest a vast workforce was drafted in from across the island, highlighting the immense social and political organization of that era. From enigmatic carvings to celestial alignments, Newgrange is more than just a relic of the past. It's a story written in stone, an echo of a forgotten civilization that continues to captivate us. As we continue to unravel its mysteries, we keep discovering that our ancestors were more advanced and connected to nature and the cosmos than we ever imagined. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the past. Stay curious, keep exploring, and remember, history is a lot more mysterious than you think. A giant shelter.
This is in Ireland. What that dude said on that last creepy, scary TikTok video is starting to have a lot more validity now. I need to find out who that was. What was that interview about? Where is he now? For him to say that to people that already got real eyes and real lies in here. Did y'all catch that? Y'all know what's up. We could see it.
They found 33 sets of remains here, bones basically, and they found 33 sets of remains here, bones basically, and they think that they were placed there over a 600-year period, and that they were probably moved from other locations around the area. So that's quite interesting about this one. It's the most famous. There's loads of people coming here. It looks really beautiful. And if the weather wasn't so rubbish, I would be taking loads of photos of this, but I honestly think it's time for us to get back in the car. Thank you and good night. They found 33...
Hello, Dr. White here. Stepping on the roof, and around me, in the center, the 3 side chambers. It was... Hello, Dr. White here. You are very welcome back. And this time, personal experiences and the inspiration behind my research on megalithic sites in Ireland. Ready for this? Part 1 of 2. Story time. It all began on a bitterly cold morning in January.
Before we get started on this, I just want to say I appreciate and love all y'all that's rocking with me. You guys know how we do it on this channel. We put a little different twist on it. We dive deep into these reactions. I don't try to just give y'all a 20-30 minute boy wipe my nose and keep going, man. I really try to get some truth up out of these, man. I really try to dive deep on them. That's why I try to make these longer, and I genuinely enjoy it. I would love to go see all these in person, take pictures with my camera, and take you guys along with me, man. Go in groups. Whoever can, come with me, maybe take one of y'all with me myself, and we all go through it together, man. We all on these waters together, man. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man. Really, honestly, man, if you still watching this video, diving into these megalithic iron structures, this is interesting. It's got a creepy aspect to it too, because it's like, man, they lying to us. Nobody never really told us anything like this. So it's interesting at the same time with a sense of mystery. And, honestly, I appreciate you guys. I really do. We gonna have to do something.
On the footbridge outside of the visitor center at Newgrange. Stepping onto the footbridge, I felt called and warmly invited by the River Boyne below. I felt compelled and wholly moved, simply walking across the bridge as the voice of the river spoke directly to my soul. Arriving at the site, I enthusiastically moved towards Newgrange, the site of the mound, the curbstones, the standing stones, the size of the entrance. It felt like a very long wait for the tour guide to take us in. Traversing the narrow tunnel full of carvings that truly spoke to me. I had absolutely no idea what awaited. In reaching the end, I looked up and I saw the corbelled roof, and around me, in the center, the 3 side chambers. It was truly an ethereal experience, like time out of time, and all stood still. The tour guide with the kind eyes finished telling us the history and turned out the lights to simulate the winter solstice sun. And immediately the sudden darkness transported me to another time. There were sounds outside, all around the burial mound. I heard drums and rattles and people singing and children laughing. And in what felt like a lifetime, before I had a chance to truly soak it all up, the artificial lights came back on. And suddenly, I felt alive with an enormous sense of connection and a tremendous desire to go back to that place, for I did not want to leave. The sight I saw when coming out of Newgrange, of the burial mound, the green rolling hills, the river Boyne below, both inspired and disoriented me. For I knew I just had a profound yet inexplicable experience that would stay with me for life.
Well, how are yous? Let me take yous up here to the top of Tomlahari Mountain, or hill, to this big granite stone. It's called Cloch Ada, and it's known as Tomlahari Standing Stone, not far from Warren Point. So from up here, if you take a look around, you've got Carlingford Loch, Cooley Mountains, Donegay Standing Stone, Irwin's Ring, making its way up here to the top of Tomlahari Mountain. The views are amazing. Sleepgullion over to the west, Knockavey to the north, and heading over to Sleevecrum out east. This big granite stone was put here probably a couple of thousand years ago, but we don't know who and we don't know why.
That boy was dropped by an airship, and if they probably dug up under that rock, it'll probably reveal more of it. What you're seeing is just a polished erosion because it's been sitting there so long. But they need to dig up under that, honestly. Somebody needs to get a shovel, some caution tape, and we need to see what's up under it, honestly. The Standing Stone in Tomahari and Clogahad, if you're listening, this is what I'm telling y'all to do. Somebody needs a shovel, and they need to dig up under there so they can reveal what else is under there so we can possibly get some more truth to what's been going on with our real history.
If you have any ideas or suggestions, you
look at the erosion. That was probably 1,000. This was probably 1,000 years ago. Maybe 500 years ago. That's what that layer is. You know what I'm saying? So it's obvious something was going on.
you can maybe tell us. But the energy up here is pretty amazing, and it wasn't put here for no reason. It seems, and it looks as if there's a connection here with Cloch Ada. Head in this direction towards the Donegay Standing Stone and Irwin's Ring. We had a dowser here, and he tells us that there's 3 lanes here meeting at this point of the Standing Stone. So what does that tell us? This is there's more to the point than meets the eye.
They could have been getting energy off those boys. Tell me what you guys think. I believe something's hiding under this. How is this all just, nothing? And this is all forestry. That means roots can't, trees can't, nothing grow right here. What you guys have here is grass that's been planted on top of something mega right here. Whatever the hill of Tara is, something significant lies under it. I'm telling you right now. There is something huge that's causing these trees or nothing to grow right here, man. Then you got these random mounds. Come on, man. They hiding something. There's something under all of that. Look at these. That look like a finger. Wow. All right, now people wonder about Stonehenge. I wonder what they're gonna say about this. How did this rock get on top like that? You know? You mean to tell me 100 people lined around it and did a shoulder press? I don't think so. And I want to see what's under it. This is probably just the top. Probably a giant structure under this again.
Here is a climbing up some mountain.
Yeah.
BC, making them more than 5,000 years old, older than the Great Pyramids of Egypt, and even older than Stonehenge. Of course, this is Newgrange in County Meath, Ireland. But what makes it so special? Well, first, it's crazy old. The people who moved over here were Neolithic people who were mostly farmers. Ireland looked a bit different back then. It was mostly forested. You see still a little bit of forest right down there, but now it's mostly farmland. The other thing is, it took them probably a very long time to construct this. But why is it called Newgrange? Well, for that we have to go back to an order of monks that settled here in the 1100s. They bought farmland nearby and they called it the Grange. But they wanted to expand because they're actually really good farmers, and they ended up calling this Newgrange. But they didn't know about this. They just thought it was a random mound. Zoom later to 1699, and they end up finding out that this is an actual megalithic site, meaning it's very old and of very high importance to the history of humankind. Look at the design of stones right over here. Very impressive. Now, people here come in droves during the winter solstice in order to see the sun shine directly through the main passageway. Inside the visitor center, there's actually a full-scale replica of the main passageway of Newgrange. But this is part of a larger complex called Brúna Bóinne, which means the Palace of the Boyne, which is the nearby river. Inside here, since the main passageway is actually closed, here at least you can get a sense of how perfectly mathematically precise were the ancients in getting that streak of light during the winter solstice, making it also the oldest solar observatory in the world. And also they have these standing stones, and there were many, many more. Only a few survive to this day. So it makes you think, what other large mounds in many areas around the world, including my own US of A, there's many of them large mounds all around the middle of the US. There's a large mound there in England. So maybe could those also be structures? Who knows? I'm Ariel. Stay curious, my friends.
They're everywhere, man. We're starting to see they're everywhere. All right, y'all. I want to finish y'all off with this Transylvania and ghost paintings, man. I'm already 2 hours into this. Dang. I be trying to make these shorter, honestly. Y'all be like, Chuck, thank you for these long boys, man. I be trying to make them shorter, to be honest. There's so much I want to talk about. Transylvania. The ghost paintings. King Charles, I ain't forgot about that painting. You know, we just need to look up that druid and see what was going on, you know, with the, then somebody said they was trying to protect themselves because they was getting dumped on, you know, so we had to go to Ireland and see what was going on, you know? It sounded like they was catching the work heavy and had to seek shelter. So we had to see what was going on.
Raindrop.
I think this is a giant sign telling them the shelter's close, because there we got that circle again. They was like, hey, if we got that, you want to come find this giant circle so you can come seek shelter. That's what I think this is. They said you're getting close. This was a giant shelter for that whole region. The strength for stone. I might need to come out with a book, man. Piece all these pieces together, man. Look how smooth it was under. They CNC machine smooth that boy. That thing is smooth. It looks like there's multiple sites like that. That's not the only one. They look like they got two of them at least. 2, 3, 4. These boys with shelters. Look at this. Where's the swirls at? Show us where the swirls are. Yep, there's the swirls. Shelter's getting close this way. And it was probably an arrow pointing.
Monolithic structures that you can find almost anywhere on the planet. These particular ones were found in the Amazon sometime. What does this mean for me and what does it mean for you? It means that technology goes far beyond our grasp. The ancients had far more technology than we can imagine. So what I urge you to do is follow me, study Tartaria, look into Silicon Earth and ancient giants, and follow me for more.
Hold on, Silicon Earth. Which one of y'all took my notes? Silicon Earth. All right. Let's check out Transylvania real quick. Let me make sure I didn't forget anything.
To mainstream scientists and archaeologists, this stone relic represents nothing more than the coronation stone of Ireland's ancient kings. But according to Irish mythology, the Hill of Tara was also a sacred dwelling place for the gods.
The Hill of Tara is a mound, and like many mounds in Ireland, like many of these She mounds, it is allegedly the entrance to the realm of the She, or these otherworldly people.
The Hill of Tara is considered the sacred center of Ireland. The kings ruled from there for many centuries in ancient and in early history. And this was considered a sacred portal to another dimension, to the other world. So it had more than the authority of kingship. It had the authority of the supernatural.
Maybe that's why the spirals was everywhere. That's interesting. These portals. That is interesting. Your thoughts below.
In Irish mythology, the Tuatha De Danann were gods who had magical powers. They arrived from the lands of the West, these mythical lands of the gods. They were said to come in these dark clouds.
Uh-oh. Now we got Anaki on the scene.
Which then landed in the mountains of Ireland.
They said they came in dark clouds. They got spirals going. So now we in Naki portal territory. These waters are never ending, aren't they? All right, let's dig off in Transylvania. This was a good one though, man.
When I was in Romania, I visited Dracula's castle in Transylvania. It's called Bran Castle, and it's located in the center of the country. It's pretty cool because you can go inside the castle and explore. So you can go up secret staircases, check out the bedrooms and furniture from the 1200s, and even see the infamous torture chamber. There are also amazing views over the whole area. It's interesting because the 1897 book says Dracula lived here, but historians say the real Dracula, Vlad the Impaler, probably never set foot here and was born 90 miles away in this house. There's Corvin's Castle, also 190 miles away, which is where he was believed to be imprisoned in the 1400s. This whole area has so much to see. There are so many different castles and so many different places to visit. So let me know in the comments if you would come and which castles you'd visit.
All of them. I got to see all of them. Who built them is the question. I want to see all of them, but I'm asking every single worker who built it. Did you know this was Tartarian? Let me see the ancient ether conducting antennas at the very top, please.
Ever wondered what visiting Transylvania would be like? Well, let me share with you this fairy tale land known for its medieval towns, castles, and myths and legends. To get there, I flew to Bucharest and hopped on a train to Brasov, a gorgeous city in the heart of Transylvania with an old town that's a must visit with its cobble streets and colourful buildings. Dracula's castle should be top of your list, and you can't forget to visit the rest of the Transylvanian castles and fortresses. It really does feel like you're in a magical fairy tale land here, and I could not recommend a trip enough. Ever wondered what...
I gotta go to Transylvania. I have to see that. You know, I gotta go to Oregon. If you haven't checked out my Oregon video, check that one out. That one's nice. I never knew Oregon was so beautiful. The Shanghai tunnels with the scary, it's tight. And they got bridges, waterfalls. Transylvania looks crazy, you know. Man, I need to travel. Oh, is she trying to say Hotel Transylvania was based off something real? Yikes.
Dracula's head is shaped like a coffin, and my mind is officially blown. Hotel Transylvania is known for its zany animation style. Characters dance like this, move like this, and if you pause, you'll most likely stop on a crazy frame like this. Here's how the animators push the animation. The first pass on a scene would look like this. It's cool, but kinda mid. The director would draw over the animation to push it and make it more extreme. So in this shot, he repositioned Dracula's body to make the pose less realistic, but way more cartoony. These little details take things from good to great. The animation style is different from most other CGI films that choose to go for a more realistic style of movement. Having a more stylized look was way more fun because it let the artist get more creative with the designs.
Dracula sleeps in coffins, right?
So we thought, oh, wouldn't it be fun? We could make his head shaped like a coffin. And so we started to do drawings of a little bit more coffin shape. It took us a few weeks until we kind of got the right feeling.
Man, am I still recording? Damn. I got this house. It's 80 degrees outside. The AC ain't on. I'm sweating. I feel like Ace Ventura inside that rhino right now. It is hot. Shh. I'm gonna have to put some AC in here, man. I'm gonna have to get another AC box, put it in this window. I am hot. What are we even talking about? Transylvania? Alright. We gotta wrap this up. Transylvania, vampires, Romania, King Charles, yeah. Scary TikTok, scary videos, like and subscribe. Let's go. There's no way this is real. That's crazy. If you need an itinerary in Romania, this is what you do. Wow.
Forest is a 729-acre forest in Romania, named after a herdsman that disappeared in the forest with a flock of 200 sheep. It has been called the creepiest forest in the world. Those that visit report strange symptoms such as nausea, burns, high fever, and the overwhelming feeling of being watched. There have been multiple reports of UFO sightings, with many people believing the forest is home to a portal to another world. It is believed a young girl went missing and returned years later, looking like she hadn't aged a day, wearing the exact same clothes. There is a particular part of the forest that forms a circle free of any plant life and is thought to be the place where a lot of paranormal events take place.
Scariest legends in Transylvania.
I saw something scary.
Strigoi the Bloodsucker. The Pied Piper. Wilhelm.
Daddy, I think there's a spider on my floor.
Bao Bao the Child Snatcher. Scariest legends in Transylvania.
The world is not in your books and maps. It's up there. The world.
5 things I learned while I was researching a book in Transylvania. Number 1, a lot of the rural farmers believe that peacocks can scare away and detect the presence of evil spirits. This is why you'll see so many peacocks in farms in Romania. Number 2, though the location of Dracula's castle is in Transylvania, otherwise known as Bran Castle, whether or not this castle was actually the castle that inspired Bram Stoker while he was writing Dracula is hotly debated. However, the real Vlad Dracul did spend some time in this castle, but it was very brief. He was imprisoned there for a brief time. However, number 3, if you want to really immerse yourself in the life of the real Dracula, you can actually go to the home of Vlad Dracul. It's a restaurant, of all things, that serves lunch and dinner. If you go, I highly recommend the Crepes Dracula. They're delicious. Number 4, the most haunted forest in the world is not located in Japan. It's located in Romania. Known as Hoibaciu, this forest was named for a shepherd and his flock of 200 sheep who vanished in the forest and were never seen again. Since that time, there have been many reports of ghosts, disappearances, UFO sightings, all sorts of unexplained phenomena. People, when they go there, tend to get really, really sick. I know I did. And there's some videos about that if you want to look for my Hoibachu videos. And finally, number 5, talking about disappearances, there's another village in Transylvania where the people just vanished. You can go and see where they were building their houses, and their houses are in various levels of completion, but no one has any idea what happened to the people. They were there one day and gone the next. So that's what I've learned. What do you know about Transylvania? Would you like to go there?
Yes, I want to go there. I want to go to Transylvania. I want to see those buildings. That forest got me worried though. I ain't trying to get sick, man. I just got over getting sick, you know. I got prednisone and augmentin in me right now, you know. That's why I'm just having trouble breathing, asthma. You guys know how it goes, man. But yeah, I'm glad to be back on these waters. Let's see. We looks like we hit Transylvania on the head. We hit the great megaliths. Ghost paintings. Let's bring it all home. Hold on, we gotta talk about Vlad the Impaler real quick.
The whole myth of Dracula, like the Dracula story, the Bram Stoker version of Dracula, came out of this legend of Vlad the Impaler. Vlad Tepes was a real guy who used to torture the enemy and impale them on spikes in front of him while he ate dinner.
No shit.
Yeah. The whole myth of Dracula, like the Dracula story.
Welcome to Bran Castle, the storied citadel on the border of Transylvania and Wallachia, Romania. Steeped in mystery and legend, this haunting castle is perhaps most famously associated with the 15th century ruler Vlad the Impaler, also known as Dracula. Over the centuries, the castle has been the site of numerous paranormal hauntings and ghost stories. A number of people have reported eerie voices, eerie footsteps, and apparitions in Bran Castle. Some even claim to have seen a figure dressed in a black cloak and a wide-brimmed hat in the dungeons. Other reports include a spectral force that reanimates the castle's suits of armor, a ghostly lady in white that roams the walls at night, and a cursed stone that causes any visitors to suffer from terrible nightmares. Despite these legends, Bran Castle remains a popular tourist destination. With its forbidding towers and winding corridors, it remains a living reminder of Romania's turbulent past. So don your cloak and hat and explore this haunted castle for yourself to experience its unique energy and all-encompassing aura of the unknown. Would you visit this castle? Leave a comment. Aura of the unknown. All-in-castle for yourself to...
I believe they've taken something out of these pillars. There was some type of technology here that this castle was getting free electricity, and whatever was here, they took it out. This is just evidence of that. Tell me what you guys think. This has to be the best clock tower I've ever seen in my life. I have not seen a clock tower this immaculate. Look how gorgeous this is. Unbelievable. We gotta move around, man. Look at this. We gotta move around. So much stuff to see in this world.
Creepy Things, Part 75. The Hoibachu Forest in Romania is known as the Bermuda Triangle of Transylvania. 1968, a military technician captured this photo of a UFO hovering over the forest. There is also a legend about a young girl who disappeared in the forest and reappeared 5 years later, unable to tell where she had been for the past 5 years. Creepy Things, Part 75.
Dracula is a count living in a castle in the Romania or Transylvania.
Vampires are real in Transylvania.
Looks like something out of a movie.
Vampires are real in Transylvania.
Those aren't bats. Those look like regular birds. Yeah, that's not a bat. I have, all right, I'll let you guys know. I went to an actual Tartarian structure near where I live, and I actually talked to the people, and they gave me some very interesting video of bats flying into the tower. So those were real bats. I might put it up here to show you guys, but I'm honestly, this is down the line. I'm trying to get an interview with the maintenance worker, which is I'm trying to line up. It's going to be huge. This is a side project that just happened while I was gone, but yeah, I might be able to talk to an actual maintenance worker of an actual clock tower at one of these Tartarian looking buildings. So it's exciting stuff. I'm interested to see what he's going to say. You know, the clock tower still lights up, so I'm interested to see how it lights up. Or will they even let your boy up there? You know, I'm taking a nice camera up there. I'm taking film, 2 batteries, and flick. It might be a live event. Well, no, we'll see. And then speaking about live, I'm going live tonight. Today is 5/17. I'm recording this at 2. It's almost 3 o'clock right now. I'm going to try to rush this boy out to you by 6 p.m. if it processes fast enough, and I'm gonna try to go live tonight, man. I want to talk to y'all live, and we need to kick it, you know, check out a couple paranormal videos, you know, talk about some stuff. Just chill, man. Be on the lookout for that, man. Tonight your boy is going live. Count on it. Seriously, this is a huge deal. I'm going live, y'all. This is the first time in a while, and I'm probably going to be live for, you know, a couple hours. I need to finish this video up, but it's a good one.
Luoghi da non perdere in Romania, parte 3.
One of the most horrible bear attacks that I know of in the last 10 years took place in Romania, Transylvania to be precise. The home of Dracula, they say. But a real monster took Bogdan's life that day in his farmhouse. You see, the neighbor had driven by his home on a bicycle and had seen some disarray outside the home. He noticed that the door was open. He thought that was rather strange and then decided to turn around and come back. He called into the home, didn't hear Bogdan's dogs barking as they usually would, and thought that was strange. He heard Bogdan, or so he thought, in the kitchen. So he called a few times, and then he entered into his home. They were such close friends, and it was ordinary for him to come in and out, the type of friend that you can go right in his refrigerator and he's not going to kick a fuss. When Alexandru walked into the house, he found not Bogdan, but he found a European brown bear feeding on his friend. He said that the bear was busily engaged in the process of eating his friend. He froze in terror. What do? He didn't know whether to scream or to run. But the bear made the decision for him when it turned and looked at him. The bear was covered in the gore of his friend when it rushed at him. He turned just in time, and he shut the farm door behind him. The bear hit the door and kept coming right through the door. Luckily, Alexandru had just enough time to get on his bicycle and to ride for town. The very worst part of the story for me was the fact that when he told everybody in the town what had happened, and he said that there was no hope, but the bear was still close, that they needed to go back and eliminate the bear to save others, the only man in the town that had access to a firearm refused to give up that firearm. He would have went to jail for using it, you see. Without a permit to discharge that firearm, he could have went to prison. lost his business and his livelihood, and he refused. And because of that refusal, another man was attacked by the very same bear. Although he lived, the bear fled into the Transylvania forest, never to be seen again. One of the
I enjoyed that. He's a good storyteller. Has he got any more? The Creature Preacher, that's his name. If you guys enjoyed that as much as I did, The Creature Preacher, check him out.
Vlad the Impaler. You know, Count Dracula, vampires, all that shit you wear on Halloween? Well, they was based off a real guy. Talk about crashing out. I think my boy's in the Hall of Fame, first ballot. I'm talking about they credited 100,000, 80,000. And what is impale exactly? That's when they stick a stake either vertically or horizontally, and he did that to a lot of people. People that betrayed him, people that he took over, people that he just wanted to do it to. And the thing is, they wouldn't immediately. They would kind of suffer over the days, and he would just leave them out in the front. I know you heard of Transylvania from the vampire stories, but he was actually ruler of Wallachia, and he would go into Transylvania, do some raids, and then impale them, but he actually didn't rule over Transylvania. This was his shit. Southern Romania in today's terms. He was supposed to defend against the Ottoman Empire, but at the same time, people would go and seek peace, like in this example, and he just everybody. He's like, oh, okay, impaled. Put you out in the front. Put him on a stick. Let's rotisserie them all. My boy Crib was kind of smooth, though. Real castle. You could go there today. It's in Romania. He ruled 3 different times, and his dad was Vlad Dracula. He got killed and took his other son, and then he was able to rule over Transylvania. Dude was kind of getting lucky, so I can't believe he was crashing out, but at the same time, I kind of can, because like, yo, you buried my dad alive and my brother? All right, impaled. And in a new study, it showed he could have actually cried tears of blood because he had that little condition, so that made him even scarier. He got his name because there was a time an Ottoman Empire leader was retreating into Wallachia where Vlad was at, and then they saw exactly how he got down. He was like, oh, shit. On business, aka he rode up and he saw 20,000 people in front of the city, all impaled on stakes. No defense, no nothing. He's just like, okay, you all step up here, just look what happens. Come in peace, come in violence. I'm just saying this will be the end result. Staked, impaled. And when it says he did not go lightly, he died in battle. He was fighting, trying to stop the Ottoman Empire because he wanted to keep on ruling, and they cooked him. But rumors have it, it could have been his own people that actually went behind his back in the fight, just because, he would impale you. Like, if you stole something, let's say you stole, impaled. Something that's interesting, though, is like, if you look in Romanian history books, he's kind of looked at as a hero, because they're like, oh, he was defending against the Ottoman Empire, he impaled people for a reason, but obviously, as we know, the vampire is based off this dude, because he was impaling people for minuscule shit. So, I don't know. Tale of two sides. Vlad the Impaler. You know, Count Dracula.
I was impaling my enemies on wooden spikes to protect my lands. I am Vlad III the Impaler, also known as Vlad Dracula. I was born in the 15th century in Transylvania, a region of modern-day Romania. In 1442 I was taken hostage by the Ottomans alongside my younger brother Radu. We were brought up in the Ottoman court, where we learned about their tactics and military strategies, which I later used to defend my kingdom. Eventually, I was freed and returned to Wallachia in 1448, where I first took the throne at the age of 17. My nickname the Impaler comes from my brutal method of killing my enemies. I impaled them on wooden spikes. It may sound gruesome, but it was an effective way to instill fear in my enemies and maintain control. It is said that forests of impaled victims were erected during my reign. Quite a chilling sight, wouldn't you agree? Let's not forget my determination to defend my homeland against invading forces. I fiercely fought against the Ottoman Empire and earned a reputation as a skilled military strategist. My resistance against the Ottomans has become a symbol of Romanian national pride. I inspired the creation of the famous vampire character, Count Dracula. The author of the novel drew inspiration from my reputation for cruelty and ruthlessness. My legacy has been both celebrated and demonized throughout history, with some considering me a national hero, and others a cruel tyrant. I was impaling my enemies on wooden.
Your thoughts below on Vlad the Impaler. Is he a hero or was he on some BS? Let me know in the comments below. Me, I think that's going a little too far. But if we look back at his history about how they did his dad and his brother, that's definitely a villain arc type story to start someone on a mission. Yeah.
The savage life of Vlad the Impaler. The real-life Dracula chose violence. He'd invite his enemies over for dinner, before impaling them and dipping his bread in his victim's blood. It's the original Olive Garden. Those that survived an attack from Vlad's army would be placed under floorboards and stomped out till their death as his soldiers partied until the wee hours of the morning. Still waiting on my invite. When one of his mistresses claimed to be pregnant, to disprove her allegations. Thank God for Maury. When he caught a man stealing, he had him and forced his companions to eat. It's a devastating dessert. In order to address his empire's growing poverty issue, he'd invite the poor and the weak for a feast, before locking the dining hall doors and setting problem solved. His preferred method of execution? Bitch, you guessed it, impaling. But specifically, no pain, no gain. If you rejected one of his dinner invitations, you'd be impaled. But if you accepted, you'd also be impaled. It's a lose-lose. The savage...
Oh my God. Well, we gotta wrap this up soon.
Did you know that Dracula was real? This is Vlad Dracula. He actually had feasts in front of the impaled victims, and there are rumors that he would put cups underneath the impaled bodies so that he could drink their blood or dip his bread in it. Vlad once repelled an Ottoman invasion with a force of 20,000 impaled corpses, and as a result, there are still some people today that view him as a national hero. He's said to have killed most of them by impalement. Eventually, Vlad was delivered to Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II in Constantinople as a trophy to be displayed above the city gates. Did you know that Dracula was real?
Tell y'all a true story, be so boom. This one was crazy. I was upstairs watching Martin Lawrence. I mean, boom, throwback. So I kept hearing some noise downstairs, so I mute the TV, and then I heard, "Come downstairs." So when I go downstairs, Dracula was there. First thing first, this big ass picture was on my wall, so I'm like, this picture looks so familiar. Then he's like, I'm like, bro, what you laughing at? He's like, I said, oh, not you, that picture from the Ghostbuster movie. He was like, yeah, I knew you would remember. I said, what the hell are you doing here? He said, they sent me here to take your soul. Who? He comes out the picture. I'm like, yo, homie, you kidding me? He said, just come with me and we can get this over. Bro, I ain't going nowhere. He's looking at me. Yo, that was pretty sweet. Boy, stop playing with me, son. Laid homie down. Mind you, he got back up. He jumped back in the picture, so I'm like, shit. You really think you're going to beat me? Doesn't matter if you hit me. I'm going to jump back in this picture. I said, get your ass out the picture. He jumps back out. Okay, what's up? Where the Ghostbusters at? They going. Oh, yeah? You going to be going too, yeah? Boy, stop playing with me, son. Laid him down again. Mind you, after he fell on the floor, he disappeared. I'm like, yo, who the hell is this dude? He goes back into the picture. I'm like, see you later. And he disappeared. Next time somebody says, come downstairs. When I'm in my house and no one's even here thinking that you're going to scare me, that shit didn't scare me. I went down there real fast. Stop playing with me, son. Let me tell y'all.
That's all we have for today's video. If you made it this far, the code word is Wednesday Motion. Go ahead and drop Wednesday Motion in the comments below. That lets me know you're a real one. You made it all the way through the video and you really rock with your boy. This was disturbing TikToks, creepy videos that might just change your entire reality and question everything. I'm Jet Ski Chuck. Till next time.